So this week we're on a new project. We're going to Jewl Lake, and we're going to the Dentonia mine. It's just a huge mine. There was a whole bunch of smaller mines right above Jewl Lake. First of all, it started off, there's a great big shaft called the Jewl shaft, and went straight down 500 feet, but it's all in water and stuff, and they had to keep it pumped out, and they got a whole bunch of levels in there. But connecting to that, going further up the mountain, there's a place called the Ethiopia shaft, or portal actually, Ethiopia portal, and so that's where we're going to start. We're going to go in there, and it goes up 5 levels. So we start at the 100 level, goes up to 500 feet, so it's just massive. There's huge stopes in there, there's tunnels, adits, drifts everywhere. It's a massive mine, and we're going to start at the Ethiopia adit, and then we're going to have quite a few episodes. We'll keep them down about 30 minutes each and every week, and we'll explore more of the Dentonia mine. So stay tuned, and I hope you enjoy the show. We're just flying over Mount Roderick Dhu. There's a lookout there. It's abandoned there, and we're heading for Jewl Lake, and that's where the mines are. So we're coming in from the west, and we'll swing down the lake here. So now we're going from the south. Come along here, and you'll see there's kind of a place right along the lake there. That's a mine there. I guess I haven't checked that one out. It's kind of gated off. And then right in the center there, you see this great big rock pile, and that's the Ethiopia adit, and that's where we're going to be going in today. So we're going from, you see that pile there, and we're going across there. So the mine goes from there, from the lake, all the way right through the mountain. It's a long ways. All these tunnels are connected through 5 levels, and right to here, there's the Jewl shaft there. That's where they comes out at. So you'll see that big red structure there, and it goes from there all the way to the lake, the mine. So it's a long ways. There's 5 levels in this mine. It's just massive. There's all kinds of levels and adits and stuff. So the Jewl shaft actually goes down about 500 feet, but so here it is. So I think this is on private property, so we can't check out the actual Jewl shaft, but we'll check out the other stuff that's connected to it. So this week we're exploring a bunch of mines in the Jewl Lake area, and that's we're right over top of Jewl Lake, kind of to the south end of it. So this is a big, a huge pile of waste rock here. So obviously there's some pretty substantial mining that carried on here. So really excited today. We found a really nice shaft. Someone's tried to block it off, but there's been people in it. Pretty substantial workings here, I believe, because cold air is just screaming out of here, and there's been people in here, so no problem to squeeze through here, and we'll head in there and see what we can find. On our way, heading into the Ethiopia shaft. I can see and smell rats already. Saw one just ahead of me. Oh, there's a band of quartz there. Narrow band of it. There's a pretty fair sized shaft here. And I say the air is just screaming out of here. We'll give you a shot of the jail here that they tried to block this off here, but this is going to be probably a pretty big mine because there's just a monster pile of waste rock on the outside, and it was a pretty big producer back in its day, so interesting to see what's left and what we can find in here. I don't know, I seem to have lost track of my boots. So all's got is shoes today, but they're old shoes, and they get soaking wet. No big deal, just gonna have wet feet. They'll dry out when I get home, I guess. A little bit of water dripping in here. So there's, I don't remember ever seeing this much air coming out of a shaft, so, or out of an adit. So obviously there's got to be there has to be some other workings and stuff in here. So this is the first time I've had this oxygen monitor with me here. I'll show it to you. So that tells you what the level of oxygen is. If you're down below 21%, alarm goes off. It's really cool. You buy it, you just turn it on, and it stays on for 2 years, and then throw it away and buy another one. So there's nothing, you don't have to turn it on or off or do anything to it. Monitors oxygen continuously for 2 years. So that's a little safer, you know, you're belaying down into some steep areas and the air is a little more questionable. It's just another safety factor that if I do go into mines as much as I do, that you got to cover all your bases, eh? Oh, it's a little bit of rock peeled off the wall here, or off the ceiling, which they call the back. It's called the back. On a mine, the ceiling is called the back. The walls are called the ribs, and the floor is called the floor. Miners seem to have interesting terminology for everything. So this is probably just a haulage tunnel, would be my guess, because it goes straight, and we haven't seen a lot of mineralization. They haven't mined this much, so it's probably just going into a stoped area or underneath some stopes, and then I would guess we're probably going to get into a big open area and have a bunch of tunnels going up and down, shafts, raises. It looks like a little bit of serpentinite here. The green kind of slippery looking rock. A little bit of that. Yeah, it looks like that's serpentinite. Yeah, it is. So it's not valuable in itself. It's just a sedimentary rock that occurs in a lot of these mineralized formations. The biggest example, or the best example I've seen of serpentinite in this area is in the Golden Crown mine. It goes for about 100 feet of pure serpentinite through a fascinating tunnel. It's also very crumbly, so the miners probably don't like to see it much because it means more for them. So interesting slabs peeling off, in angular type of sedimentary formation here. Obviously there was a railway here at some time. They pulled the tracks out, but still all the ties in here. Pretty fair sized ties. In lots of mines you see smaller ties than this. So looking at this, it almost kind of looks like this is maybe flooded at one time, because you can see it's kind of almost like a mud on top of the, really kind of muddy, eh? On top of the serpentinite. It's either that or it was just dust, eh? And then you can see where it's cleaner, and that's definitely serpentinite there. So you kind of wonder, because the way the wood's kind of arranged in here, it almost looks like maybe this whole thing was flooded. And maybe the point of those the barricades at the front may have been to try to keep it flooded. So it's a pretty long haulage tunnel. You can just barely see the end here. So we haven't filmed all the way through here. It's just kind of boring because you know, you're just going through a long tunnel. There's nothing exciting, so we'll just kind of give you the highlights here. All of a sudden it's kind of changed here, so we're getting a different type of rock here. So this is more like a serpentinite here. Okay, it's kind of interesting to see that fold there. So we're getting a different material here, which is interesting, because there's no mud or dust on here. It's clean, and it's not that it's been falling down. It's just I'm not sure what the difference is. A pretty radical change from just kind of muddy colors to this more multi type of a rock. But that's the way it works in these mines. These faults are thin and they Things change really fast geologically in these mines. Oh, there's an interesting little waterfall here. That's what you want to call it. Real narrow band of quartz there. So we're at the very end of this very long tunnel here, and this is where the exploring begins, I guess. So, I'll pan back and you can see just how long that tunnel is. I don't know, I couldn't really estimate how long that is, but quite a long ways. There's nothing there, it's just a straight shot all the way. So here we come to a collapsed ore chute. So there's obviously a stope up above us here. So there's an ore chute on the right side, and I guess the manway would have been on the, it almost looks like there's a ore chute on both sides. Yeah, that's definitely trucking up there, so we're going to continue along the bottom for now, and when we come back we might go up there. That's not that hard to get up. We'll keep trucking along here and see if we can see what we can find first. You're always trying to see if there's a easier, softer way. Oh, here's a little room here. So this is going to be a pretty interesting mine, I think, to explore. Judging from the size of the ore or the waste rock pile, it was a pretty big mine. So there's two common gauges in railways. This one here is 18, which means it's 18 inches between the two rails. And the other one is 24. So actually I have a locomotive at home that is 18 gauge. But they were able to switch them to 24 by adjusting the axles. So with the bigger, heavier railways, they, if you're hauling bigger ore carts, it's heavier, they switch to 24 gauge. Yeah, not too much water in here, just enough to keep you on your toes. It's actually easier walking in mines that have the tracks removed, but you don't get to pick. Oh, there's an interesting looking hangar, huh? So this tunnel's kind of winding back and forth, so obviously they were following some mineralization in here, where if they're just trying to get under a stope, you know, they're just straight. There's no air screaming out of this guy here, so the air must be coming out of the other branches to the left. But we got our trusty oxygen monitor, so if it starts beeping, we'll turn around. It starts beeping when it gets down to 19.5%, but you're good to about 10%. Below that, you start having problems. Well, I'm glad we were able to find this mine and get into it. I've heard, I had a viewer, Bonnie there, she told me about the Dentonia a long time ago. They used to play here when they were kids. And yeah, you do some research on it and find out, boy, this is one of the more substantial mines at one time. It was one of the major producers in BC at some point. I don't remember when, 30s or 40s. Oh, wow. So we got chutes and stoping up here. There's an ore pass. Boy, this is going to be a really, looks like a real extensive mine, eh? Kind of a pretty fine line between being a bit of a challenge and being dangerous on those ore passes. Well, the thing is, the ore has to be steep enough so the ore comes down without hanging up. So if the ore can come down without hanging up, so can you. So there's an ore, or a shaft going down. Yeah. Oh, there's another rat. That's a pretty fair-sized one, eh? It's visiting. We didn't come to eat anything. Yeah. Well, the rats don't seem very smart to me. If I was a bobcat, boy. If I was a bobcat in here, I'd be having lunch. Oh, yeah, they might have done some sampling up there, And then they just chip sampled off some quartz, and then wrote down which vein or whatever they grabbed it off of. Yeah, that's a pretty cool looking vein, eh? Huh. Yeah, that looks pretty neat. And then they just stopped. You think, oh, it's just getting fun in here. Yeah, it's pretty cool looking quartz. It's a little flecks of metallic material, I don't know what it is. Yeah, that rat is a long ways underground as far as I know. It's possible that you get further up the stope. There could be a stope close to the outside, but it's certainly pitch black in here. It looks like they probably sampled a bunch of that quartz. And then if one come back real rich, and they would know where to keep digging. All that stuff is really weird, eh? You look at it and you think, oh, that looks really good, but if it was, they would have mined it. Pretty steep ore pass going up there for sure. Oh, there's a rat way up there, maybe the same one we just seen. Yeah, that's a bit too much of a challenge to climb up, I think. Yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll be able to get up. The miners got up, so we'll get up somehow. That looks like it goes way down. Sure does. Yeah, there's another hole that goes down, so this just ends here, and away she goes down. Basically, what I'm doing is going on the way in. I've just went to the end of the tunnels, and now that I'm turned around and heading back, I'm going to try to climb up any of these stopes or any of these ore passes or manways that I can. I tried a couple in there just to get up a ways. It was just too steep. I couldn't make it up. So I passed one here on the way in, and it didn't look too bad. You know, I'll be editing most of this just walking between these large tunnels out. But take my word for it, it's a pretty big mine. And there's many meters of tunnels in here. I couldn't guesstimate how many because we've just gotten going here, but we've walked a long ways already so far. So this one here doesn't seem to be quite as steep as some of these other ones, and it's got a manway with these rotten ladders. But once I get up this first little part here, that's not looking really steep to me. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to just safely walk right up beside this. That's the manway here, and this is the ore chute. Doesn't look that steep to me, but the ore chute. But that looks like I can get up there safely, but we'll give her a try. It didn't turn out to be that steep walking up here, so this is kind of the steepest part. It's really helpful to have this ore pass beside you because you can just kind of grab those big timbers as they come along. The ore pass seems to be in pretty reasonable shape. Show where it looks down there. Goes down there, it's fairly clean. And they put some boards and stuff up there to help the ore slide down here. So luckily the grade here is not grade's not too bad here at all. This part still has some rotten ladders, and this isn't really steep at all, so this makes it really nice to climb up the next level if you can do it easy like this. Now I'm at the top of this ore pass here, and indeed we have intersected another level. There's an old explosive box here. So this part of the mine, there's not much air moving through here. It's really still, which makes me happy to have this oxygen monitor because we only got 19.5% oxygen, so even though there's no air blowing through here. There we have an ore cart. Hey, cool. I don't think I've filmed any really decent ore carts inside of a mine. So this is the same type of ore cart that I have at home. It's an end tipper. So there's the catch. Pretty rusty. There's the catch. Oh yeah, this is a turntable style. So there's a catch here, and what you do is you release that catch and you can actually turn that ore cart all the way sideways, and you can dump it sideways. Because some ore passes are like this one, where it just dumps right off the end, but most of them you dump to the side. So this is, we'll call this the 200 level. Whether it is or not, I have no idea, but that's usually how they organize things. The bottom level is the 100 level, and the next one up is the 200 level. So that continues on this way. But we're going to see, before we do that, we're going to see just how extensive this level is and see where we can get. We'll check out this whole level, and then if we can, we'll try to get up to the next level. So this is an area where they dumped off to the side with that ore cart, would have swung around to the side and went down the side. Oh, we're seeing some pretty good veins in there. Pretty dry in this mine, that's kind of nice. And then we'll try to continue on up there. If we can get up the first little part, shouldn't be a problem. It doesn't look that steep. Curious to see how many more levels there is going up, and if there's an exit at the top. Good, our feet weren't going to stay dry for long. Must have been quite of a job even getting the materials and ore carts and stuff up to the top of some of these mines. No wonder the ore carts just got left here at the end. Oh, there's some compressor line there. Another stope there, I guess. Oh, look at all the rock broke off here. Look at the quartz and some sulfides there, and there's another stope here, but it's like it's all plugged off, broke. So this probably crumbled fairly recently. Oh yeah, look at the, pretty neat, eh? The quartz and the sulfides in there. I almost imagine that'd be the kind of stuff that they would have mined out of here to begin with. Same thing. There's another pass. That one doesn't look all that steep either. Yeah, it might be pretty easy to just crawl up there. Who knows if it joins up to the last one though, it may or may not. Might be easier than trying to climb up that ladder. Yeah, massive. Lots of mining in this area. You know, there's just you move a few feet and there's another stope, another stope, another stope. So pretty good deposit in here. And here we got the railway splitting in two halves, more stopes. You wouldn't think they would all be continuous, otherwise why would they be that close? Probably better off to try to go up the main one where the ladders are, because you know for sure that, oh, there's a rat nest. You know for sure that that will go up to another level, because that's how the men would have got up there. That was a real sexy looking beast. Oh, we got a bunch of dynamite boxes here. And of course they put them in the wettest part of the mine. Or a pretty wet part of the mine. We can see any writing on any of these. If I had to bet, it would say foresight. Oh, blasting caps, eh? Blasting caps? I think so. I haven't seen, oh, those are shells. It says foresight perforated shells. So those are blasting caps, eh? Yeah. Well, this is going to kind of confuse me on my right-hand rule. That'll work. Another powder box, pretty wet here though. Some mineralization in here because we're just snaking back and forth. A whole bunch of cans in here. Those, I don't know, food, tobacco or what they'd be. Big cans. Oh. Look at the rats, they just chewed the bark right off of that log there that was holding the back up. Well, this is a pretty safe mine though. I mean, I haven't seen any cave-ins or any real hazards to speak of. It's all pretty much all real solid rock tunnel. You know, it's been here for 120 years or whatever. I mean, it's probably be here for another 120 years. Looks like it was a pretty rich pocket of minerals in here. Lots of stopes in here, and they're pretty close together, so pretty good sized chunk. Today they'd never do this. It'd definitely open pit this. Just take the overburden off the top, and instead of high grading it like this. So we'll follow our right hand rule. Find out where we're going to end up here. It's pretty hard to get lost on this level. You know, we're just going to end up back at that little ore cart. A little bit of a different type of a rock here that I haven't seen before. Pokey spotted. I was able to make it up to kind of proceeding up between the 2 and the 300 level. A little steeper than between the 1 and the 200 level, but there's a ladder at the bottom that wasn't bad. So we were able to kind of use that ladder and continuing on up. Hopefully up to the next level, I'm sure, because you know, there's a manway here, so obviously this is how the men access these areas further up, and this is the ore. That actually looks pretty easy. Could maybe climb up there. I don't know what would be easier. Just stick up the manway, I guess. So this is kind of interesting. There's a band of quartz here. And some gold, see? I don't know. Now we're at the 300 level, so it wasn't a real nasty challenge to get to the last part. There was an ore pass, and it just kind of petered out, just a bit of rotten material here and there, and the ladders and everything were gone, but I could see the 300 level up here, so we kept going. And I can feel a little bit of a breeze up here. More serpentinite. Oh, pretty interesting looking wall here. Foot wall. And some quartz, a bit of flowstone. Yeah, we're certainly feeling a pretty good breeze now. That's nice. Be cool to find another way out. Nice to have multiple entrances into a mine. This is just a massive mine. I think, other than Phoenix, this is probably the biggest mine I've ever been in. It's got the most tunneling in it, most tunnels and most levels, from what I can see so far. Lots of times you start in a mine, you always think, oh, well, it's big, it just goes on and on and on, and by the time you get done, you think, well, it wasn't that big. Here, there's some shiny looking pyrite probably, yeah. It always looks really bright in the mine, and when you're sitting on the computer looking at the desk, you think, oh, why did I film that? I didn't see no gold there. Yeah, lots of places to explore here. Gotta make sure there's no false floors here. And there's an air door here. Or maybe it's just a storage area. Yeah, it's a little rat storage area. Probably kept powder in here. Something like that. Looks like little footprints down on the floor or something. I don't know them. Looks like rabbit shit or something. Weird, eh? Pellets. It's not from rats. That's weird. Looks like rabbit shit. Interesting looking formations and stuff in here. Pretty steady angle going across. A little bench there. Looked like there was a control door for air here at one time. We see sunshine. So indeed we have found an exit. Well, isn't that interesting? Well, that's neat. We found another exit. Gotta love that. Woohoo.